Good evening, La Popular Agave Spirits Club members. Trevor here, coming to you live for a very exciting month. We are featuring G4 this month, and we're very excited to get into all things G4. If you're new here, welcome. We're happy to have you. We are a small agave club based out of our La Popular restaurants. So, if you've been here before, welcome back. And we're really excited to continue to grow the club and feature some amazing brands such as G4. We're in month 7 of the club at this point, and it's been awesome so far. And we've just been so grateful for all our members and are excited to continue to grow the club. So if you're a current member and you know someone who loves agave spirits, spread the word, invite them to the club. We do have openings available. Exciting news, we just opened up our 5th restaurant in Redlands, California. So I know we have, in the first week of opening up memberships, we've sold about 10 memberships. So those are going fast in Redlands. So if you're watching this and you're interested in joining the club, we have memberships available in our Porter Ranch, Roseville, Claremont, and now newly opened Redlands location, which opened up yesterday. So please come check us out. Just some housekeeping. Again, we're in month 7 here. So if you've heard me say this before, I apologize, but I'm going to just kind of run through the club perks for everyone if you're unfamiliar. So part of the La Popular Agave Club, every month you're going to get a tequila. This month we're actually got 2 bottles of tequila. So we're doing G4 Blanco and G4 Reposado. So you got 2 bottles this month. You get some cool distillery swag. And this month we had a cool G4 hat. I left mine in the other room. And a bolo tie. So you get distillery swag, info on the these great virtual calls. And also some great perks in the restaurant. You get 15% off your dining experience for food and for you up to 6 guests. You get priority seating for you and up to 6 guests. And we just added a new perk this month. All Agave Club members get complimentary upgrades to grande margaritas and grande beer pours if you're a club member. So you pay regular price for the larger pour as long as you're an active Agave Club member. And so those are just some of the great perks. We also do release kind of exclusive members only bottles that are for additional purchase, but only members can purchase them. So this month we did release our Cabal Añejo. It is a Añejo aged for 26, I can't remember. It's either 26 or 28 months in Willet barrels. And this is available for members only. It's $135 to purchase this bottle. So you can tell I've already gotten into mine a little bit. But we are excited to talk all things G4. So without further ado, I'd love to bring on our guest for this evening, Sean Miller. His technical title is co-founder of the Packaged Group, but I was told to say that the better title is he's the chief right brain. And Sean, hopefully I got that right.
You got
there we go.
You got me, buddy. You got it.
All right.
The right brain guy, which means it simply means that I don't do math, frankly, but I do I do all the creative things, all the marketing things, the writing things, the creative things, and all of those things with my team, which is in Mexico, and we have a great time. So
awesome. Well, welcome to the call. We're happy to have you. So please tell us about who you are, what you do. What is the chief right brain for Package do, and how is Package associated with G4?
Sure. Well, Packaged is technically, legally, we're the import company of G4. We've been importing G4 since the day after Christmas 10 years ago, this past year. And we're having extraordinary success with the brand. But we have a unique relationship with the producer. The brand is owned by Felipe Camarena. It's owned by he and his sons. And they are the producers of the product. G4 means fourth generation, by the way. That's the first question everybody that's a weird name. What does G4 mean? Well, it means fourth generation. So Felipe Camarena and his family is the third generation. His sons are the fourth generation, and Felipe made the brand for them. So therefore, the name G4. Now, they own the brand, so we call it a producer-owned brand. And our role uniquely is to both import, and then in this case, you're seeing me, who's a gringo in Michigan, speaking to you about the brand, because Felipe would love to sit at your bar and talk to you. That he would love to do. He would smoke Marlboros and drink Modelos and talk with you about tequila all day long. But he's not going to jump on StreamYard and live stream for 300 people. It's just not his thing. He's not going to do it. So we speak in these cases. We speak on behalf of Felipe, who is the owner of the brand. So that's why I'm here in the hot seat, and so such that people know. I visit the distillery every month. I have now for 10 years. So I've been well over 100 times. I've spent days and days and months with Felipe and in the depths of the production process. So I can speak fairly confidently about what's going on with the product.
Amazing. So can you give us a little bit of your background? How did you get into Agave Spirits, or how did you start this importing company, and what
Sure.
interested you in agave to begin with?
Well, for us, it was we referred to it as a happy accident. Co-founder and chief left brain is Jeff Ernst, and he and I and Package were actually a digital agency. We were doing marketing primarily in food products. And the story is that we had a friend who had that we knew who had invested in the importation of G4 tequila, and this was about the time that Casamigos was famously sold for $1 billion, and everybody was very interested in investing in the tequila business. So unfortunately, our friend invested with the first import of G4 with an actual criminal. So there was a cat from California. No offense to anybody on the call, but there was a cat from Southern California who defrauded Felipe of a truckload of tequila and a whole bunch of American investors into what he was presenting a version of bringing G4 to the U.S. So when that all went down, our friend was the largest investor, and ended up with the rights to import the product as some way to recoup his lost investment. And at that time, he called us, knowing that we were good marketers and knowing that at least if nothing else, we were honest. Even though, to be frank, we knew nothing about tequila business. We hardly drank. We certainly didn't. I'm now Mexican. I'm legally Mexican. I certainly was not Mexican at that time. I gratefully took a little Spanish in college, but that doesn't get you very far. And so they asked us to help with the brand, and kind of honestly, the rest is history. In a way, it's completely taken over our lives. We no longer have any other outside businesses. We're focused specifically on tequila, mezcal, raicilla importation. And all in these unique relationships where we have a producer like Felipe who makes something awesome, but the family doesn't want to be involved in the marketing. They don't want to do PR. They don't want to do those things, or they don't know how. And so that's our little sweet spot. We have 10 brands that are Mexican spirits that are owned by the family that makes it, and we do the marketing. So we do the importation, we do the selling to the distributors in the United States. And then we also have a team now of 16 in León, Guanajuato, in Mexico, and they're doing all of the creative work that you see from the brands on be it on social media or any place like that.
So you also control the business in Mexico, or just in the United States?
We are outside illegally and functionally. We're outside of Mexico from a distribution standpoint, but we're controlling the marketing communication for the world, actually.
Oh, wow. Can you tell me a little bit about, you said it's been 10 years or somewhere
Yes.
around that time.
Yes.
Obviously G4 is an extremely reputable brand now. I think people associate G4 with obviously high quality.
Really.
You know, it's a tequila that people trust and know. How did you build that over the past 10 years? I know that's a loaded
Yeah.
question, but you know, with the with the amount of brands now
Yes.
infiltrating the market with tequila, celebrity, you know, obviously there's a lot of talk about additives these days.
Yes.
Um, how has G4 separated themselves from the rest of the pack and established this reputation of being trustworthy and being
Sure.
reliable and having a great product?
Sure. Well, and gratefully, we, to be honest, we didn't know that when we got involved. We that was lucky for on our part. Obviously, if you know anything about Felipe and the Camarena family history, let me say that they're from Arandas. They're from the area of Los Altos of Jalisco, which is about 2.5 hours to the northeast of Guadalajara. They are a family of agave growers since the mid 1800s. They're part of the families that were the first distillers of tequila in the Arandas area in the early 1900s. Felipe's grandfather created a brand that's very famous called Tapatio. His father created a brand very famous called El Tesoro de Don Felipe. That was Felipe's father. Felipe and his brother created a brand that's now very famous called Ocho. And then Felipe chose to separate for the benefit of his family, of his sons and his lineage, create his own distillery adjacent to La Alteña, his father's distillery, and at that point started creating G4. So that for us, to our benefit, we always say that we're responsible for selling the first bottle, and the producer is responsible for selling the second bottle. So in this case, we're very fortunate that what Felipe makes is something that is of exceptionally high quality. It's absolutely world class, renowned in its quality, but it's also an excellent value. As you know, your club members receive 2 bottles of G4 because it's not extraordinarily expensive. That's an attainable thing for you to do, right? And those prices, by the way, are exactly the same prices today as they were 10 years ago, which is also a unique place in the market. So we had an exceptional producer. We have an exceptional producer. We have an exceptional value product. And you mentioned the word additive free. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. CRT strikes lightning and terrible things happen to our company. So I won't speak that phrase again. But when that became a thing, and Grover and Scarlett were the instigators of that, the Tequila Matchmaker, the people behind Tequila Matchmaker. When that became a thing, the first place they went to discern how they would audit if a product was authentic was El Pandillo, which is the distillery making of G4. G4 is the house brand of distillery El Pandillo. So that was the first place that they went. The second place they went was La Fortaleza. Because they knew it was exceptionally quality, they knew it was absolutely authentically made, and they could base their foundation of their audit for what they would deem then to be an additive-free brand based on the outcomes of those 2 facilities. That's where they started. So we've been at the very forefront of this since it was a concept. Right. And so we have benefited from that clearly. But at the same time, the brand, as the brand has grown, Felipe has navigated the engineering of increasing production and allowing the brand to scale in its availability, as everybody sees today, without any loss of quality, and in reality, an improvement in quality. And that's some technical aspects of production that we can talk about. But the product is actually significantly better today than it was 10 years ago, which is kind of unusual and not what people expect.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about NOM 1579, the El Pandillo distillery? It's like located in Jesus Maria, Jalisco. Can you tell us a little bit about where that is and, you know, kind of the uniqueness or specialness of the actual distillery?
Sure. So Jesus Maria is sort of is an adjacent small town of the city of Arandas. Arandas is is the more famous city of the area. The area known as, we try not to say Highlands, but people commonly say Highlands, Los Altos. Highlands is a Scotch term. But from that area, it's an area which has the bright red clay soil very uniquely. So in that area, we call it on the top of the hill where the bright red clay soil is. The earth is very, very mineral rich. The agave grow fast. They don't grow very large, but they grow quickly, and they grow in a very bright, fruity or floral tasting note to them. So it's a unique area for that. Felipe built the distillery 15 years ago. He is an engineer, separating from his father's distillery. So what Felipe did was he took sort of the best practices of the tradition of his family, and then applied his engineering mind. And his engineering mind is he's famously called, if you don't know, he's famously called the mad scientist of tequila. That's been that way for a long time. But he gets that identity of the mad scientist because he's always seeking a combination of sustainability in efficiency, right? So he's trying to create ever more efficient ways to produce the same or higher quality tequila. And that there are many evolutions to that, but the first one that always catches everybody's attention is that he's capturing rainwater. So one of the fundamental uniquenesses of G4 is that half of the rainwater, or half of the product that you're having, is made with captured rainwater. And that's, of course, a sustainable supply of water from the sky. And the other half is coming from a mountain spring way up the hill on the property. And so,
how are they capturing the rainwater? Like,
they're from the rooftops into a system of gutters and into a storage cistern.
And it rains enough to produce that much water?
It does. It's in the rainy season in that area is abundant and overwhelming. But they're extremely high altitude. This is not the vision that someone may have of a desert in Mexico. This is not that. It looks it's a very, very rich agricultural region. It's a region of tequila, of course, but also of many fruits and berries and strawberries and an extraordinary agricultural part of Mexico. It's lush and green, and rain is abundant there for sure.
And does that rainwater go through any sort of treatment after it's collected? I mean, I'm sure it does.
Well, there's a filter. There's a bit of a filtering process, of course, coming out of the cistern, but that's about it.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. I want to talk a little bit more about the production of the tequila. Can you go into kind of the method of crushing the agave? Are you guys using a tahona, or are you using a roller mill? And then let's talk a little bit about the cooking methods. Is it brick oven? Is it autoclave? Can we tell us a little bit about, just dive a little bit more into the production process, if you don't mind?
Sure. So we start with water because water is our one ingredient. In this case, we have two water sources, right? We have the spring water and we have the rainwater. And with the process that we're talking about, the entire production process is done using a single water source. And then, so in our case, we're talking about two production processes that are then blended into bottling. So half from the rainwater production, half from the spring water production for G4. Okay. So the agave is local. It's no longer only from his ranch, but it's from the Jesus Maria area. It's something about a half-hour drive circular that he will buy at this point. The brand's too big to come only from the family anymore. But it's all local. It's all famously ripe and sweet and fresh. It comes in is sliced into quarters or halves if they're small, and then stacked into an oven which is of stone and concrete, fired then with steam. One of the uniquenesses or the efficiencies that Felipe uses is he fires steam both from the top and the bottom of the oven to create a more consistent cooking process. That takes about 36 hours, and then produces something that is caramelized and has notes of like a grilled pineapple. It's a beautiful flavor profile. It comes out very, very sweet. Honeybees will come, just come all as soon as the ovens are open. Honeybees come. It's just very, very sweet. It calls them from all over the area. It goes to a shredder. The shredder is called Igor, and the reason that he's called Igor is because he's the partner of a mechanical Tahona, which is called Felipe Stein, which is a twist on Frankenstein, of course, because it is a very unique Tahona stone. So you maybe have seen pictures of a video of a traditional stone Tahona. It's not very large. It's in a small circular container. It goes round and round and round. It typically takes a team of workers about 8 hours to process about 2 tons of agave in one of those little old stone Tahonas. What Felipe did was he said, I want that outcome, but I need it to be much more efficient than that. And so what he did was he constructed a square pit with stone on the bottom, and he went out into the world of used equipment, and he purchased a used steamroller, right? Like from a junkyard, like that they used to flatten highways, right? And then he purchased train car axle setups. And he put the train car axle setups on the end of the steamroller and built rails on the side of this rectangular pit. And he uses a little electric motor to pull it to chain drive this 20,000 pound steamroller back and forth over the agave, which is shredded by Igor. So it takes only about 2 or 2.5 hours to run a 2-ton load of agave with this mechanical Tahona Felipe Stein. And there's
that's unlike anything I've ever heard of.
if you come into the environment of G4, if you look at G4 on Google, or you come to the package group and look, you can see pictures and videos. We have a documentary called Felipe's Way on YouTube has millions of views that shows all these and it explains all the details. But yeah, it's
one of our members commented Felipe Stein Creations is what.
It's really truly a unique and quite a crazy thing, and it's not a secret. Anybody's free to copy it, and some people have tried, but nobody else has managed to make it work yet, which Felipe finds incredibly amusing. Including his own brother, who now has his own distillery, who's also tried to build the same thing, but his doesn't work, which Felipe finds just absolutely hilarious, by the way.
Sounds like healthy sibling rivalry. I love it.
100%, yes. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so from that crushing, you get what's called mosto. You get the juice, which is the sugar and water separated from the agave fiber. One of the benefits...
Mosto muerto, yeah?
Mosto. Well, it's not muerto yet. It's still mosto. Until you add yeast, it's still mosto, right? So the mosto is the only pump that's used in the whole production process is from that pit up to fermentation tank is a pump. Otherwise, everything else in the distillery is operated by gravity. So the Tahona pit feeds by gravity up to the fermentation. Fermentation feeds by gravity into the distillation, and distillation feeds by gravity into the storage tanks. So that's the only pump is that one. He's quite sincere about these efficiency things, right? It's very, very important to him. So from that mosto, you have to do fermentation, right? So we need one more ingredient. So we have water, we have agave, and we need our third ingredient, which is yeast. So the yeast that they're using is a propagated agave yeast of Felipe's grandfather. It's used at Pandillo. It's used at La Alteña, which is his father's distillery, now run by his sisters. And it's used also by his brother that I just mentioned at Los Alambiques, which is his brother's distillery. This is a Camarena family tradition. It's been I don't know precisely. Nobody knows precisely, but they know that this was at one time propagated by Felipe's grandfather, and it's been continued like the mother yeast, if you will, has been continued since that time. So this is a multi-generational strain of yeast, which is pretty damn cool, I think, right? So fermentation is done from there using that yeast. It's done typically in stainless steel tanks. So the products that we have for the club members, the Blanco, the Reposado, those are fermented in the stainless steel tanks. The bottles that you see out in the world, which have the brown label, like this one in my hand, they're tan or brown label. Those are
open air fermentation
in wood. So these are fermented in wood. All of it's open air fermentation, but all using the same yeast, all open air. But these are fermented in wood. Everything else is fermented in steel.
So with the open air fermentation, how do they control, other yeast or bacteria in the air from getting into the product, or is that something that's
and that's intentional?
Yeah.
There are windows adjacent to the tanks. Those windows are kept open, and those natural environmental yeasts are expected. They're a critical part of the process, and they're embraced, frankly. And so part of that local agricultural area is a feeding of those yeasts, inclusive of fruit trees and berries and all sorts of interesting things.
Well, and the honeybees too, right? I'd imagine that they
clearly. Yes, for sure. Clearly, they would,
because they're carrying all types of good stuff around with them too.
no question. And of course, in reality, fermentation begins as soon as it's cut, right? So there's a lot of things involved in fermentation, right? But that the mother yeast is used to make sure make a consistent flavor profile, and that takes anyway from 5 to 7 days, depending on the ambient temperature at that time of year, right?
And do you feel that
takes?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's cooler. It takes longer. That's all.
Do you feel that the signature Camarena flavor profile is obviously all the factors of the agave, the water, the fermentation, distillation, that all plays a factor? Do you feel there's one of those that plays a bigger factor in the flavor profile associated with G4?
Well, that's we could drink and discuss this topic for a very long time, and we would never have an answer. And depending who was around the table, we'd have a fun discussion. We would never have an answer, but the answer that's easy, that might be the right answer, and it's certainly easy, is to say fermentation, and to say that's where the magic happens, is in fermentation, right? That's where we go from sugar to alcohol, and the process and the temperature and the process of that is in the time of that is probably the most important factor in the flavor profile.
Awesome. We're going to get into tasting here in a minute. I do just want to, if you joined us late, we are talking all things G4 with Sean Miller, who's the chief right brain of Packaged, and also the co-founder. And if we are going to get into some audience questions here in a little bit. So if you haven't already, you're joining us live from Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and get your questions for Sean into the comments. We are going to be giving away a couple bottles tonight. We're giving a first place prize, and I'm sorry, I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning. I was going too fast. This should get some questions in that chat. First place prize is going to be this G4 Añejo, an extremely highly allocated bottle, only released a few times a year. Sean, is that accurate?
Well, about quarterly.
Yeah.
There's a truck of añejo, and I should mention that today there's an article in Forbes calling that the best añejo of 2026. So that's always nice. A little publicity like that is nice.
Yeah. And then not a bad second place prize. We have a single barrel that is, from what I hear, is not really available.
No,
You're not going to find this anywhere else. This is a single barrel reposado that is aged in Buffalo Trace barrels.
yeah, that's a barrel. That's a
Barrel.
single barrel. It's a Buffalo Trace barrel. Jeff and I have a few barrels that we keep, and that is one of them. And we ask that they fill that for us, and then we bottle it as a packaged single barrel. And those are just for gifts for friends. So that bottle cannot be purchased. I use the term unobtainium, and that is among the rarest bottles of G4 that one could ever possibly find. Exceptionally more valuable, frankly, than the añejo. No offense to the añejo, but vastly more limited, more valuable than the añejo.
All right. Well, I think we'll probably give whoever gives this, we'll give you the choice. You can you can pick which one you want, and then second place will get the bottle. But there's not a bad winner here.
No.
Again,
no, you're not gonna have a problem drinking either one of those, or unfortunately selling them on the secondary market.
Don't say that. Don't say that, Sean. We want our members to drink their tequila and share it with their friends.
Please.
But yeah, again, get your comments, get your questions in for Sean. We're going to pick 2 questions at the end of the call tonight and give away this amazing single barrel reposado and this amazing añejo. I'm jealous. I don't get these bottles. They're for our members. So we're excited to give these bottles away tonight. So let's get into some tasting here. We have 2 bottles. We have the G4 Blanco, which is, I always say, to taste the Blanco first of any distillery, any tequila, and if the Blanco is good, then I'll try the other stuff. So I love the Blanco. It's a phenomenal tequila, and then we have the Reposado here as well. So let's talk all things Blanco first before we get into the Reposado. Can you tell us a little bit about the G4 Blanco? Obviously, this is the purest form of the tequila you guys make. I know you guys do a still strength or a high proof as well, but this is the 80 proof Blanco tequila. So if you're following along with us at home, you have our La Popular Agave Club tasting cards. This will tell you, I know the font is super small, so hopefully you got your reading glasses this month. We gave you 2 bottles, so don't yell at me. We got info on both tequilas, tasting notes. You got the NOM, the agave type, the agave region, all the things a lot of things we've talked about already. But let's start with the Blanco, Sean. Tell us a little bit about it as we taste it.
Yeah, well, the production process that we talked about, that's in play. That's here. So everything that we just talked about.
I love that glass, by the way. That's a great glass.
This is made by Tim Dreyer. He's local to me. He's a glass blower, and he's actually a scientific glass blower. And then he makes drinkware for fun. And this little cup he made, and it's 2-sided. So the way we call it here, it's got the little bitty. We say we like it a little, and or you turn it over, and we like it a lot, right? But it's cool. It's one of my favorite little sipping cups, and it lets me put my nose. My nose doesn't work very well, so this lets me stick my nose all the way down in there and really get a good swig, good swig, right?
That's awesome. Well, I may make some friends, I may make some enemies, but I'm drinking out of my Dodgers 2024 World Series championship, Glen Cairn. So.
Yeah,
Roseville members, I'm sorry. I know you're Giants fans up there, but don't judge me. I'm sorry.
Glen Cairns are popular. I don't love them for tequila personally. I think they make tequila taste or smell a little bit too ethanol.
Okay.
I feel like it really concentrates the ethanol in my nose, and so I generally prefer something that's more open and that lets the alcohol out of my nose.
All right, then.
That's up to everybody's experience and preference. And I'm, like I say, admittedly, my nose doesn't work very well, so I wasn't we all give gifts, right? And my nose is not one of my gifts. So, but the production process that we were just talking about, that's the process for the G4, and it is two blends of water, and it is actuality. If we want to get technical, there is an element of the wood fermentation in the standard Blanco now. This happened at the very end of 2023. It happened, frankly, because of a blending incident in the production process, but the outcome was received very, very well. Felipe liked it. The world liked it. It's a famous lot of G4 called Lot 12B Blanco. Was famously blended by mishap of the wood fermentation with the standard fermentation. And so since not long after that, all G4 Blanco is 6% is from the wood fermentation, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but that is enough that it both softens the mouthfeel and adds an additional character note to the tequila that's distinctive. If you can find a G4 Blanco that's lot 11 or sooner, you can discern the difference quite clearly. But this is one of the highest rated Blancos in the world, typically 96, 97 points. This is one of the fastest selling SKUs in the United States at this point. It's just an extraordinary bottle, and your tasting notes typically, if your nose is really good, you might in the nose you might get something like it's just rained, like a wet cement type note.
Yeah, there's a minerality there for sure.
Yes, so that it just rained on the driveway type vibe, which is something between a concrete and rainwater. That's quite common.
I get a lot of like green olive too, which is quite nice.
There certainly could be some brininess for sure, right? That's good in a tequila of this quality. And then for your flavor profile, it should be overwhelmingly cooked, roasted agave. That's clear. This is Julio Bermejo from San Francisco. He said this is the standard by which other Blanco tequila should be measured. And what Julio means by that is that it tastes like cooked agave, right? That's the number one reason that he would say that. Secondary notes, typically black pepper is common, and then maybe some of these more mineral notes or down those lines, right?
Yeah, I get a little bit of lime zest as well, which is nice. But yeah, the black pepper, the subtle earthiness. I get this nice like Castelvetrano olive thing going on, which stands out for me.
Yeah.
But phenomenal Blanco.
That's the beauty.
One of the best out there. So
that's the beauty of tasting. And if people are watching and they're like, how do these nerds know these things, right? Well, you learn on purpose, right? And the people like Trevor's probably, he's clearly a professional in this business. I haven't met him before now, but he's clearly a professional in this business. He's probably spent time studying.
I just like to drink.
This is a red apple, and this is what a raspberry tastes like, and this is what a strawberry tastes like, and this is what a blackberry tastes like. And the guys that learn to sip wine, they learn to do these tasting notes. They intentionally memorize these things. So I say this to the viewers as being, I've not been in this business for very long, and there's been a lot of times that I felt like the dumb one in the room, and it's just because you haven't learned that yet, right? So if you want to learn it, you have to like do weird stuff, like go to the herb section in the grocery store and sniff the dill. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you gotta know, well, what does dill smell like, right? What does actual spearmint smell like? What does actual peppermint, right? These are the things that the people that are skillful in this, they know what a lime zest smells like versus an orange zest versus a lemon zest, and they study that. So if you want to be smart in the tasting room, you've got to do that work. There's reps to that work.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Let's talk about the repo. So,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the repo. Obviously, like I said before, everyone's got their tasting cards here. This is 3 to 6 months, so bit on the
Yeah.
shorter
So,
side of an aging for reposado, but
well, there's two things about this. So, this is what we're drinking today. There's a change in production process here. So, the añejo, the reposado, the añejo barrel bottle that you have, and this reposado bottle that the guests have and that I have in my hand, this was processed not by the Felipe Stein, but the extraction was done with a roller mill. And a roller mill is the extraction method that Felipe's father and grandfather used. It's a mechanical process. It's used for sugarcane is it where it was modeled, and it's a series of large steel wheels that counter rotate against each other, and whatever you're trying to extract from goes between those wheels and squishes basically with great efficiency the sugar and water away from the cane, or in this case the agave. So it's a very functional, effective, much faster even than Felipe Stein way to process. So as the demand for aged G4 has grown, demand for the brand has grown. Felipe adopted his father and grandfather's technique and installed a roller mill. So all of the G4 that's coming out of a barrel has been, in the last 2 years, has been made on the roller mill. The difference of that versus the Tahona stone is the Tahona machine is a little bit sweeter note. You almost have to go to the laboratory, because everything else in the process is the same. The only difference is the extraction. And the extraction gets all the hype, but it's probably the least impactful in the actual flavor profile. It's the most visual, so therefore it gets all the hype. But it's absolutely the least impactful in the flavor profile. So you almost have to go to the laboratory, but if you really, really know G4 well, you can discern it's a little itsy tiny bit sweeter. Okay, so that's then going in barrels into a new barrel house. The new barrel cava, it was filled with barrels purchased from Jack Daniel's. So these are were single use Jack Daniel's barrels. Then they came to the distillery, and Jack Daniel's is a very heavy char barrel, and so it requires at this point only about 3 months of time to get this amount of color and oak impact and filtration on the reposado. The reposado is wildly popular. You mentioned the word allocation on Niejo. I hate to use that word with the reposado at this point, but it's wildly popular, and it's being made in much more quantity than it used to be, but it still just sells out we were in panicked out of stock on Monday or yesterday.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny you say that, because when we launched this brand, our owners are based out of Mexico City. They own restaurants in Mexico City. And when we were putting our list together, I wanted G4 Reposado on the menu. That was like one of my top picks. And we put it on the menu, and they're like, yeah, we have some, you'll be fine. And we opened,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh yeah, it's all sold out. So we couldn't get it for a while. But
yeah. That's a monthly occasion at this point, but we're doing much better. So your tasting notes here change a little bit, right? Because we introduced the barrel, so now we get a sweetness that's clear. There's a vanilla note to me a little bit, maybe a caramel-y vanilla in my world. And then I get a little bit of wood or oak, a little bit of whiskey vibe on the finish mostly.
Yeah, I get some honey, creme brulee, some like burnt sugar a little bit, which is nice. But yeah, the vanilla shines through. You still get that fresh black pepper note. Obviously, it's the Blanco. We're only sitting in a barrel for 3 to 6 months, so. How does Felipe what's his approach when it comes to aging? Like, does he like,
he's annoyed by it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah. I always say he uses the word, but I would say he's perplexed by it. Like he doesn't understand, honestly, he makes this product, right? And then for some reason, Americans wanting to put it in a barrel and make it softer and sweeter. But this is the stuff, right? He drinks this. This is the stuff. And so, yeah, he puts it in barrels. Yeah, that's one thing.
That's what the people want, huh?
Trevor, what's one thing you'll get from package is transparency.
I love it. I love
foundation principles is transparency. So he likes money like everybody else. He understands the market wants reposados and añejos. Does he drink them? No. Does he think they're a great idea? Not really. But he's happy to sell them, because that's what people want.
That's amazing. So we're still building our playlist here we're going to be launching our playlist. We're about 7 months in. So looks like we have about a full album of songs at this point. Nice. We always ask our guests to choose a couple songs to add to the playlist. I have your song choices here. If you want to tell us you chose one song to represent the Blanco, one song to represent the Reposado. Do you remember the songs? Do you want me to remind you of them?
I chose the Zeppelin, right?
You chose the Rain Song by Led Zeppelin for the Blanco, and we're Mexico by James Taylor for the Repo. Can you very quickly just tell us why you chose those songs, and then we'll get right into the questions from the audience.
Well, I think the Rain Song is obvious, right? This is the only tequila the only tequila in the world that I'm aware of that's using rainwater. It's a very unique selling point, if you will. It's a unique feature of the brand for sure. If your bar staff isn't introducing this product as having been made with rainwater, they're missing out on a sale, right? It's just a great talking point. And then I like James Taylor. He's a cool dude, and the Mexico song has a nice vibe. And I love like I said, I am Mexican now. I love it there. I'm very, very happy there. The people are they treat me remarkably well. And I just couldn't be happier. And I feel like that song has a really warm vibe that seems very genuine to me, and so I appreciate that.
Amazing.
I could have picked you some hardcore cumbia, but I didn't know about the audio. I stuck with the English.
We've got a good mix at this point. We got a good mix. So again, we're giving away 2 bottles tonight. We're going to get in some questions. So if you have last minute questions, get them into the chat. We're going to try to ask as many as possible. The winner is going to get to choose between the G4 the G4 Añejo and the single barrel Reposado. So Sean, you'll choose your favorite 2 questions of the night, and okay. I am the bad guy. I get to choose who the first place prize is. So I'll look at the questions and I'll feed them to you, and then we'll go from there. So so CeeLo, one of our loyal members in Claremont, he says, you guys use both traditional Tahona and roller mill extraction depending on the batch. You kind of talked about this already, but does the method used affect which expressions the agave goes into, like Blanco versus Reposado?
Yeah, no, right? So the tequila that is going into barrels is made on the roller mill. Tequila that's in the Blancos is coming from the mechanical Tahona, and that's always true. So obviously anybody that's drinking an aged expression, they're wanting something that's filtered. They're wanting something that's softer. They're wanting something that's altered from its intended or original state, right? And therefore, the softer, sweeter profile coming from the roller mill is just more effective in the aged product.
Awesome. All right. Laura, who's also a member of our Claremont location, says, what is one misconception about tequila that you'd love to correct? That's a loaded question. You got to pick one, maybe pick 2. I don't know.
That some of your neighbors that live in Hollywood that went to Cabo for vacation are deeply connected to the cultural traditions of Mexico and therefore deserve to own a tequila brand. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll let you know. I won't. Again, transparency is fundamental for our company. I can't lie. I cannot tell a lie.
Adam Mulligan says, looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of G4 and the tequila category as a whole?
Yeah, I think that we're continuing to grow with G4. G4 grew 300% 3 years ago. It grew more than 100% last year, and then it's already grown about 60% this year. And Felipe continues to invest in, as I said up front, making tequila actually better today than in the origins of the brand, and more consistently and of higher quality. So it's an extraordinary thing. We are the G4 is the 25th largest brand in the United States at this point, and we still have many states that we're not in. And I guarantee you, if I walk down a few doors down the street on my street, knock on the door and say, "Have you ever heard of G4 Tequila?" They're going to go, "No," right? So I think we have a tremendous amount of opportunity yet for growth, and that's very cool. In terms of the category, the thing that's exciting to me about the category is that if you take, again, I'm not allowed to use that phrase that you used earlier, so I won't. But if you take the collective universe of what we call authentic tequilas, let's say, those are collectively growing. Those brands like G4, Fortaleza, Arete, Don Fulano, these brands are growing. Cascajuin are growing 14 times faster than the category of tequila, and that means that that category is eating market share that was previously being held by brands owned by guys like George Clooney, right? And so I think that's very exciting, and I'm very excited to be a part of the education and the development of people like the people that are watching, that want to learn about tequila and want to know what's in the bottle. They want to know. And to me, the most important thing ultimately is who owns the brand. Who's accountable for what's in the bottle is ultimately the most important thing. So that's why we focus so specifically on producer-owned brands.
I love it. That's awesome. A couple more questions here for you, Sean. Braulio Silva asks, what different flavor characteristics does the tequila take on by using rainwater?
Yeah, well, you picked out some of those minerality notes, right? Those are the ones that I think are coming from that rainwater influence, right? I think that's it's a salinity and a rainwater note.
Whetstone.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
He's
Alex,
that he lets on, guys. He knows more about the taste.
Alex Hamilton says, should we expect a G5 label at some point? Are the kids involved in the business?
Yeah. Well, the two sons. Felipe has two sons. The older is Gus. Nickname, right? Everybody in Mexico has a nickname. Gus and Alan are his two sons. They are in their 30s now, which people in Mexico are getting married much older than they are in the U.S. even, which is interesting to me. So they're in their 30s, but neither one of us married. There's no kids on the way. They are involved in the business. They will inherit the business. But when that fifth generation comes is not up to me. I'm not. Felipe does call me yerno sometimes, which means like translates to son-in-law, but I don't qualify to make him another generation. So we need the boys to step into that role.
Nice. One more question. Raymond Macias says, How is the ratio of rainwater and spring water determined?
Well, it was a blend. It was just it was a blend. Felipe was blending things. I think he didn't use exclusively rainwater from conversations long ago. He didn't use exclusively rainwater because he was concerned about the availability and the consistently availability of it. He didn't know right how that would scale. So for G4, he chose the blend of the rainwater with the spring water. He does have a third water source, which is a deep well. He has a 300-meter well, and deep well water is a different flavor profile yet. So Felipe does have another brand that he owns. It's called Peralta. It's not well known. It is available in the United States, but it's not well known. And that brand uses exclusively the deep well water. So Felipe was playing with profiles, and he believes that the water is the most impactful ingredient. Actually, it's certainly the most prevalent ingredient. So therefore, one could assume it is the most impactful. I'm certainly not going to argue with him. And he wanted to make that specific profile for G4.
Awesome. All right, Sean, we appreciate your time this evening. We're going to go ahead. I'll run, unless you know the two questions you want, I can run through them again for you, and you can choose your favorite two, and then I'll choose who gets first and who gets second.
Sure. Well, I think the hardest one to answer is the flavor the flavor impact of rainwater. That's the most difficult question to answer for me.
Okay, so that was Braulio Silva. All right, and then what do you know? What about your second question?
And I would say I think the other was a smart question. Was asking us about the use of the extraction of the roller mill versus the mechanical Tahona.
Let's see here. All right, so that was Silo and Braulio. I really like the rainwater question the best, so I'm going to give Braulio the first choice of what bottle he wants, and then Silo, you'll get whatever bottle Braulio doesn't want. I think you guys are both members in Claremont, so maybe you can share some stuff together.
Oh, that's nice. They could sit and open those together. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, feel free to invite me. I'd love to try them. Well, Sean, thank you so much for your time. We're big fans of G4. If you're not an Agave Club member, you can sign up at any of our restaurants. You can go on our website and sign up. If you like these calls, you can go ahead and click the bell on our YouTube page. That'll give you a notification anytime we go live, so you can join these calls and learn more about agave spirits from experts like Sean and others in the industry. And yeah, we hope to see everyone at our La Popular restaurants. Come use your discount. If you're not a member, sign up, get your discount. Again, we just opened up in Redlands, California. Brand new restaurant opened up yesterday. We're really excited to be there. And come drink some G4. We got Reposado on the back bar. We got Blanco on the back bar. Drink it. I mean, I prefer drinking it straight, but if you want it in a margarita, we're happy to make it for you. And we love the product, and we're appreciative of your time, Sean. Thank you, and hope you have a great night.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.